Pennsylvania, there are better ways to spend that money, feeding the homeless or whatever else it might be. No, we're going to spend it on Pennsylvania Supreme Court taxes.
Right.
Or fixing the roads within Pennsylvania, the highways, buying new City of Pittsburgh police cars or ambulances or fire trucks. No, we're going to spend that money on the Pennsylvania Supreme Court on some ridiculous court battle.
Banner of the American flag, should it be destroyed on Mount Washington or shall it remain? Now, we don't know.
I hope it remains. I'm proud of the American flag, and I'm certain most of you are in this podcast are proud of the American flag. I know it's hard to believe. Why would a City of Pittsburgh mayor be not liking the American flag? Only you would have to ask them that question. We don't know.
We simply don't know. I don't know if he thinks that he can tear the hillside down to make a bike lane. Maybe that's it. That could be his solution.
Well,
for those of you who didn't know, he made bike lanes all over the city of Pittsburgh and thought to himself that he had solved a national crisis of putting bike lanes in.
Yeah, it's just too hard for the motorist to look left and right and go a slower speed on the road. And now it's the bike lane. All it is, it's just it's a narrow. It's very narrow on the road. Imagine your normal car lane. Imagine half the size of the car lane. So it's impossible to drive the car through the bike lane because it's. I know in the podcast you're thinking, okay, what's the difference? How can I drive a car there? It's literally half the size of your normal car lane because they made it that way. There's constant metal spikes, metal bars down the road, so it's impossible to drive your car through there, or you'd smash the front of your car.
Right.
And so only your pedestrians or your bike riders can go there.
Right.
And it's so randomly used by motorcyclists. I'm certain some motorcyclists enjoy it, except it was so much better when it was just a normal road. So we have that. And that's not ever going to go away. No,
that's here to stay. The bike lane.
Then after the mayor Peduto either dies, resigns, gets forced out because he may have done any wrongdoing.
Yes, or is completely incapacitated because his liver has finally failed from drinking all night at Kobe's. We don't know.
Or he gets defeated at the polls. A new mayor takes over. The new mayor is not going to ruin the bike lanes and make it how it once was.
No, it's here to stay. Here to stay. The bike lane. I recall in a recent memory not knowing of this bike lane, as it were, and I was sort of making the right-hand turn as the light was turning green. Now that bike lane's right there on the right-hand side. So this guy, he wanted to keep on going straight, but he's on a bike. So he doesn't have a horn, he doesn't have turn signals, he just has his hands. So the light turns green, I need to make a right. I'm looking at him, he's looking at me. So I start going, I see no signal from him that he's indicating that he wants to go straight. Start making my turn, he starts going. So he's now bicycling into my passenger side door. And he's screaming at me. So I slow down and I stop a little bit because I'm thinking, did something happen? Did he wreck into me? No, he just simply gives me the finger, and then he continues to give me the finger and rotates his hand as I finished making the turn. So his middle finger followed me all the way around the turn as he was screaming. I could visually see him screaming. That's where we're at with the bike lanes.
That's difficult.
Yeah. What are the rules of the law now? What are the rules of the road now?
Well, maybe you had the first ever bicycle rider who was a snowflake.
That could be. No, he clearly called me an effer because I could see his mouth movements. Because I was somehow supposed to know that he wanted to go straight without having any indication of signaling that with his hands, with his bicycle, or with his body. Yeah, I should have automatically known that he wanted to go straight as I was turning right. Because it's a bike lane, the bike lane's to the right.
Why didn't he go in front of your car? He could have went around your car. He was a bike. He could have went in front of your car. Why is he waiting behind your car?
Right. When he could have simply waited that 4 additional seconds until I had safely passed. But no, he took the time to rotate his middle finger in absolute disdain towards my face because I went ahead of him. Michael, thoughts?
Well, I would have had to have rolled down my window and returned the middle finger. So that's what I would have done. I would have had to roll down my window and give him the middle finger and driven off. And then I would have had to go through a red light the next light because then he would have turned around and tried to follow me, and I would have had to go through a red light just to get away from the idiot.
Right.
Because then he'll do this guy, he almost hit me, and he was a dangerous driver when you were nowhere near hitting him.
Right. And
they'll report you to the police, so you have to get away from him so he can't see your driving license plate.
See, that's a fine line because, I mean, is there going to be such a thing as bicycle rage now on top of road rage? Because this guy definitely had bicycle rage. And I didn't see any scenario playing out where he was going to jump off of his bicycle and come attack me or pedal to the point of the miles per hour that I was driving to jump onto my car and punch through the back window. I just don't see, I did not see that playing out. So I just continued mission and Charlie Mike down the road.
Well, if you happen to recognize the snowflake at a later time, and he's on a bike, then you have to return the middle finger at a later time
and say, "Remember me."
Yes,
remember me.
They don't have no idea who he may have forgot you, except you'll remember him.
Now, what if the shoe's on the other foot? Now I'm on a bike. What if I go buy a bike just to make this happen? Find out what that guy drives when he leaves for work, and now I'm on a bike. Now I find him and he's in his car. Mm-hmm. So I know his route now. So now I'm on a bike and guess what? Now I'm giving him the finger. How's that feel?
Well, I like that.
Yeah. It would take a lot of planning, but I think it would be worth it. Perfect. It's a perfect plan. Or if you remember the movie The Goonies, where they grab the kid's arm that's on the bicycle and they just keep driving. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember the Goonies. 1984.
Yeah. What if that happens because of bicycle rage? We don't know. Bill Peduto, what have you done? You've caused another potential rage incident on our streets, on our highways. What have you done?
Yeah, he overlooked that situation.
There's not a lot of what ifs that go on in his planning. Not a lot of what ifs.
It's one of those, I thought of it, so it has to be correct.
Right.
I know many people who are like that. I thought of it, so it has to be correct.
I thought of it, so it is correct.
Yeah.
There you go. There you are. Or somebody gave me a great idea, but because they gave it to me, I'm going to say it was my idea and just change it a little bit. Now it's perfect. Now it's correct.
Yeah. That's why I stay quiet most of the time. So on the after-action review from the military, what went right, what was supposed to go right, what didn't go right, I don't want to destroy the person.
Right.
Because then they'll think it was spiteful when your idea was terrible.
Okay, so that's been our first show for these future episodes. We hope you enjoyed it. We're always going to be on every podcast platform that you go to fulfill your listening podcast needs, whether that be Spotify, Spreaker, iTunes, Google Play, or Google Podcasts, I think it is now, Apple Music. The list is endless. Find us anywhere. Tune in, share with a friend, and we'll see you next time back here on the Steel Plaza Podcast.